example, or the bigger business as such. So colleagues, good morning and welcome. Nice to see everyone here today. And today's session is part of the bigger journey of trying to build, having known your businesses, having visited like maybe 51 out of the 54 or so, and understanding the realities on the ground is to now talk energy saving, energy saving, energy saving, energy saving. And in a minute before we start, we're going to be able to do this in a very interactive manner. Casey is going to present a few slides. We're going to talk to some of the items. We'll stop in between to ask questions. You can ask questions in the chat, on the chat in Teams. You can ask questions in your WhatsApp chat, and then we'll start to answer it. I'll help where I can. Nico will do it the same. And then when Casey has a break, he'll do the same. If perhaps we're not able to answer all the questions now, we will pull out all the questions and Case will have a look at it, and he will start to attend to it during the next coming days and answer it. So you're never going to be left behind. We'll also share the slides. Marinda post today, you need to share the slides. And once you've uploaded it into YouTube, you'll have the slides and you'll have the video, colleagues, as well. So you're welcome to share this, the slides and the video, with anyone in your community, in your family, in your friends. You're welcome to share it, because we don't want to be, they can't be on the program, but they're welcome to have the knowledge to empower themselves and make a difference and improve that, that carbon, the green impact into it. So we're very, very excited. Colleagues, we have 30 people. Marinda, can you please post a quick reminder on the chat? Are you here, Marinda? She must be here, right?
I'm here, Akash. Yes, I just posted a reminder.
Okay, fantastic. Colleagues, we are about to start. We are recording today's session. Hello, Shamantha, you're on page 2. I can't see you.
Hi, Akash. I thought it was on page 1 and everyone else is on page 2.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Morning, Sham.
Morning, everyone.
Cool. So we're about to start, and we're going to kick off in a minute. Colleagues, we're just making sure everyone's here. Mabunda, so nice to see you. I like your background. Prince, my man, long time. You got a bit. You thought I'd forgotten you, right, Prince? Let's be honest about this whole thing.
Hey, Prince.
Are you well?
How are you? Yeah, Mr. Helper. Is it Helper? Oh, no,
it's
it's
Akash.
not.
It's Akash. It's Akash.
Yeah, Akash. Where is Helper? Where is Helper? He's not answering my
call. He's on the road, I think, today. Yeah.
Not...
Are you well? You're looking good, Prince. You well?
I'm okay. 100%.
Oh, fantastic. I'm glad. Nice to see you. Nice to see Peggy. I like your haircuts. Fantastic. Are you well, Peggy?
Morning, everybody. Morning, Akash. Yeah.
We must get Mrs. J to cut her hair like that too. She's too attached to her hair, Peggy. She's too attached to her hair. Mrs. J, this is a dear Mrs. J, that the next class you come to, you take it all off. How's that?
Yeah. Hey, this is an energy saving class, not a hair saving class.
Cool. Colleagues, we're all ready to go, so maybe we'll kickstart. It is now 3 minutes past 10. So we'll start. Welcome. It's so nice to see everyone. It's actually very nice to make sure that that the colleagues are participating. It is compulsory to attend this session. So we look at the register, we look at whoever's got the digital footprint, and align it to the numbers. And it's going to be one of the requirements in terms of how we're proceeding. So Marinda, maybe post that it's compulsory, that stage of in the chat as well. But maybe we should start with a prayer. As this is a very, very special day, we're actually kicking off the content of the training. So maybe bow our heads in prayer for a minute. And for those of you that meditate, you can meditate or just observe a minute of silence. Dear Lord, we thank you for this first lecture by our special guests from the Netherlands that are volunteering their time to make a difference in these small businesses. Lord, we ask that you guide, direct, protect the class. We ask that you guide, direct, protect the SMMEs, so that their businesses are able not only to save energy, but also to become stronger and grow. Lord, we ask for your blessing as we proceed on this journey to make a difference in these businesses. Amen. Thank you. Colleagues, welcome. As we've explained to you when I joined earlier, is that we're going to make sure that we're going to slowly engage with you. And today is that one of those engagements. And we're going to see that you're going to learn and get a few slides on energy saving and some green element into it as well. And then Nico is going to pick up the conversation next week and go a little deeper into that green agenda into it. But over this week, and sorry, the 4th of March, when we're meeting again, and even after that, when we're doing the final assessments and approval of small tools, what we can able to assist your business, the chat is open. You're welcome to engage, ask questions about your business on energy saving, such. So welcome. Please post your questions on the chat that's on WhatsApp. Please post your questions on the chat that's on this Teams as well. So you have both the options. And no question's a stupid question, colleagues. Shamantha is going to maybe ask a question. Check about the most engaged. Hey, Shamantha? Where's the guy that won the prize? He got his prize, right, from the last time.
Yeah, let's check. Is he in the room?
Yes, I did. Thank you so much. I'm here.
Okay, wonderful.
Fantastic. So let's say we get another prize winner today. We'll give another tablet for the most engaging contributor, Shamantha. Both questions.
Can I enter again?
Are you there, Nkosanati? We can hear you. Yeah. We can
Am
hear
I
you.
allowed to enter again?
You got your prize, right?
I did. Thank you, Akash.
He wants to know if he can enter again.
I'm not sure. No, I don't think so. Come on, it's unfair.
So
Eliminated.
Yeah,
eliminated.
sorry.
Yeah. But you hear he's here for the other prizes later.
Yes.
So please ask questions, but it's not about the prize, colleagues. It's about engaging. So Shamantha's going to keep an eye. I hope it's not hard, because if it's hard, Shamantha, then we might need to give 2 digital tablets, to make sure that they can participate and be like Mrs. J and do this training in the car and into it as well, so they can become digitally enabled. So colleagues, make sure you ask your questions.
Home.
Oh, you're on your phone. You can also win the tablet, Mrs. J. So if you want, but you can only ask relevant questions. Colleagues, I just want to remind you 1 minute before I hand over to Case and we get the ball rolling. So all of this program is made possible by the IDC, because we're calling it's part of the Township Energy Fund initiative. It's also partly by 20% sponsored by Anglo American as such, and there are quite a few colleagues that have been and that we've met on the Anglo American journey that are in this class, and these are all businesses that Sigma has worked with before in tourism. But you can also qualify for your PUM expert, and it doesn't have to be somebody coming and spending 10 days. It could also be virtual support. You might have a technical area, and it can be in energy, or it could be outside all the other sectors. So you're welcome to get this assistance for free, colleagues. Free. So it's for companies that have more than 10 staff and that are 2 years in operations. But if there are 2 or 3 companies that are smaller companies that have a similar need, write to me, and I will make sure that we can maybe combine it as such. So I'm just reminding you, from all my knowledge, quite a few of you businesses actually, like La Solo Lodge, applied. And it's a simple process. Bob's your uncle, Rita's your aunt. Application, once you qualify, which Miranda will help you process, you get a CV. They send you like OMK's CV and see if they can help you. Like, so, Mrs. J, you could also apply to say, hey, do you have a baking expert who can show me how to bake a particular type of bread? I'm using a bad example. And I know you might not have 10 staff, but there might be 2 other catering and baking businesses that we can put together, and we can get a baking specialist to become your go-to person for new recipes for and into it as well. So Bob's your uncle, Rita's your aunt, you get your CV, you like the person, and the advice can start remotely. Or they will fly down like how Case and Nico has came to your business. So colleagues, I want to remind you, but it's not the reason of today's session, but it is available. This business scholarship is available to you, and it makes a big difference. And it's not only in energy, it could be in different sectors. As you can see, agriculture, food, processing, textiles and leather, construction. I'm doing another application for another business on construction at the moment. So I encourage you to give it some thought. Your first step is drop me or Marinda an engagement. Marinda, we have to set up the meeting for Makwena, and we've had 2 other businesses that are interested. So it's just a share before I hand over to Case. The PUM program is also available. It's a coaching and mentorship program by senior experts. Cool, fantastic. Colleagues, I'm going to hand over. It's now 10:10 to Case, who's going to quickly get the ball rolling. I'll just quickly see if there's any questions or comments while Case gets his slides up. Any questions, any comments? Shamantha, anything else that I may have said inappropriately or haven't said?
No, all good. Thanks, Akash.
Sitambiso, anything else from your side?
All good, Akash.
Fantastic.
Perfect,
Tibogo, you question number 1. The first question for the prize. Go for it.
Yeah, morning, everyone. I couldn't get through last time, but Akash, I made a request on the chat that is it possible that for us to have a catalog of all these small businesses that are participating in the program? I think 1, it will help us in terms of networking, but 2, in terms of feeding in and, 1, taking up or getting business from each other. So I think that will be, progressive, creating an ecosystem of some sort after this, after all of us have gone through this masterclass program. So a catalog will assist if it's possible. If that can be done and shared within the group, that would be great. Thanks.
Okay, we could do the catalog. So I'm prohibited, Tibogo, by POPIA. This hectic red tape, which I'm not supposed to share the information. So there's 2 things. We can do a list, we can do a catalog, and we can do a process. But what I encourage everyone to do, Tibogo, is, on that WhatsApp chat, everyone post their website, post their profile, start talking and having that conversation. And maybe we joined you a little late, but I saw about 30 of those profiles being posted to get to know each other, know whose business. And importantly, Tibogo, I encouraged everyone to save their name as their business, or their name as their proper name, not as Cookie or Pooh Bear. You understand, like, if you Mrs. J Baking, you say Mrs. J, so your profile is correct. So colleagues, I think Tibogo makes a fantastic point. We have 54 businesses in this class that must work and grow together. All of you all have a common relationship with Sigma in the past. So I'm not allowed to list everyone's name because then I need to get everyone's individual permission. But can you start posting your profile, start talking and engaging on this chat? So over the next 2 months that the chat is opened, you can get to know the different businesses as such. Colleagues, we're going to kick off. Case, over to you.
Okay, finally.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay, Akash. Thanks for the prayer. Thanks for the introduction. Well, actually, it's very nice to meeting you all again. So I start recognizing faces. I hope you recognize my face. And I also hope that you recognize Stay and Nico and Colo, perhaps. So today is about energy savings. What can you do about your own energy? Not your personal energy. We can talk about that as well, but it's about energy at home and in your business. And Nico will concentrate more on the green energy production. And so I'm also very thankful to Anglo, IDC, and to Sigma that we are able to do this. Then, if my slide is moving, yes. So what are we going to talk about? Today, part 1, we will talk about why are we doing this, why saving energy, and what's a what. Probably you know, but let's explain it. Some examples of energy and water saving projects. And of course, those are examples, and you can do whatever you like with it. We're also going to make it a little bit more difficult. And so it's called EER and COP of heat pumps. And probably, I hope many of you say, well, what the heck is that? I will explain that. And hopefully then you understand it. And then it will help you to select heat pumps. And I will explain later. Of course, some common practices and tools. How can you measure, for example, and what to measure? And Nico, next time, March 4, he will talk about the invoice, your invoice. And he will give you some saving tips, how to do that, and what to expect. He will talk about the power generation and storage, batteries, etc. Last but not least, we can also help to dive deeper and to do a formal energy water saving scan. And then you will have a lot of results. So this is the program for the coming 2 days. Well, let's start easy. We are giving this kind of seminars and webinars already quite a while. Somebody should off his microphone. We are already giving these seminars and webinars already for quite a time. For example, in Bolivia, in Jordan, in Pakistan, in Suriname, and also already several times in South Africa, Northern Cape, for example. It's all about raising awareness about why should you save energy and why is it important. It's also knowledge sharing. We're sharing knowledge, but also we are learning. It's not one way. It's also we are learning from you. What is important and what is less important? What are the typicals? How about hot water in guest houses, for example? Of course, you can talk forever, but if you do not implement it, it will never work. So implementation is a key point of the savings. Again, if you are not implementing it and still talking about it, it will never happen. So that is important. So that's in the end the impact. Okay, still it's easy. So if you talk about energy and water saving, then an enormous important component is that's yourself. Because if you don't believe in it, it stops already. And of course, I can preach whatever you want to hear, but if you don't believe it, say, well, it's bullshit. Then never mind. Then it stops. But hey, let's talk about switching off the light. If you have the habit to leave the lights on all the time, you're paying for energy for nothing. You're not using the light. So why should you not turn it off? So other example is your showering behavior. Are you showering for more than 10 minutes? Hey, let's talk about this, by the way. What is your showering behavior? Knowing that hot water is a big component in your, if you have hot water, a big component in your energy consumption. So, can you switch off your mic? Who is showering more than 10 minutes? Who dares to say that? Do you know that?
Yeah,
Who of
I
you
do,
is?
Kees.
You do? Man, come on.
But I only shower once a month.
Okay. So that's already a bit of explanation. How about you guys and girls?
I shower 4 times a day.
Several times per day. And how many minutes per day? 4. Yeah, okay.
15 minutes to
15
20.
minutes. Oh man. Anybody else?
Yeah, I shower about 2 times a day. Well, at least once, about 7 minutes at a time. But mostly just once, depending on my work schedule and depending on what I was doing throughout the day. And then I'd have a second shower. But essentially, it's just one shower a day, about 7 minutes max.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, thanks for sharing. And you can see it already, that it also depends. It depends if you are working and you have to, it's a very intense day, a hot day, 37 degrees, I've experienced that. Then you like to shower 2 times a day. But realize when you shower hot, you are using water, of course, and of course you're consuming energy. And hot water is consuming quite a lot of energy. So let me say to you, well, the standard kind of is 3 minutes. Or take a shower is 3 minutes. You go in, do the showering and enjoy it a little bit, and maybe you can do the hair wash. Well, for me, it's the hair wash is, you can debate about that, but you can do it in 3 minutes or less. And by doing that, you are saving on water consumption and you're saving on energy consumption. But that's what you are doing yourself. And what do you tell your family about that? So if you are doing twice a day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day, and maybe for 10 minutes, nice hot shower, and what do you tell to your children, to your husband? Because it is really consuming a lot. So think about it. That's a kind of behavior. Other example is heating and cooling of unused spaces. If nobody is there, switch it off. In a guest house, when nobody is in the room, why should you have the air conditioning running or the heating running maybe in winter time? Just switch it off. And the return is you will save energy and cost, because it's not without cost. If you have old, worn-out fridges or air conditioners, they're not working optimally, and probably the payout time, the investment divided by the payback time, is low, and it's buying a new fridge if you can afford it, and new aircon if you can afford it, is bringing back the money to you. So basically, it's all about what do you believe yourself and what do you tell your family. If it's just let go, then you can expect that anybody is taking care of it. When I started this journey on energy savings, I also joined up with my wife in this, and she learned how to switch off the lights when she was leaving the room, and so on and so and so on. So hey, it's also cost management, energy management, water management. So have a look at your own home situation and have a look what equipment is using energy and water, and where can you save energy and water? Find it out, and you will be surprised. Well, in the Netherlands, we are applying a kind of, we call it trias energetica, the triangle of energy. There are 3 priorities. Guess what? What is the first priority? What's the first step you should take on your energy and water journey? Anybody has a thought about that? Anybody? What is the first priority if you start thinking about energy in general? There are three priorities. This wasn't one for the nice laptop. Okay, I will explain it. First priority, of course, is reduce the demand and avoid waste. I just explained it. What you can do about it is part of it is just behavior and just switching off and implementing some energy saving measures. For example, LED lighting, or just measure your power consumption, or use high efficient appliances, like my favorite, induction cooking. And the second one is use sustainable, renewable sources of energy instead of fossil fuels. So solar energy, wind energy, water energy, etc. And the third priority is, if you use fossil energy, use it then as efficient as possible. I will explain a little bit later as well. So then, why saving energy and water after all? Why should you do that? Well, of course, energy prices are not that certain anymore. And I believe that Eskom is preparing a nice increase in power prices. So you never know. If you save energy and water, especially energy, it can be cost reduction. And 20 to 40% and even 50% is really achievable. I've seen in many, many cases, also at my home, for example, that cost reductions are substantial. So if you want to cut your cost, your operational cost of your company, then cost reduction by saving energy and water is a very important topic. Other topic is, in the Paris Treaty, we all said to each other, we should reduce global warming. We should limit ourselves to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Actually, yesterday I heard we are already at 1.3. So it is already pretty late. So we should reduce carbon dioxide emissions, methane emissions. And so carbon dioxide is a result of burning fossil fuels, for example. The other one is, if you are changing over to renewable energy, then, for example, a diesel motor, diesel engine, is generating a lot of smoke, fumes, soot, wood fires, for example. So also the environment, the particles, fine particles in the environment will go down. In South Africa, this is not a really big issue yet, but where I live, it is an issue. Due to climate change, we see that drought and water shortages are becoming more and more frequent. And sometimes the other way around, too much rain, also due to climate change. So the world is changing, and we are still, as humans, we can do something about it. And then for your company, by showing that you're doing something with your energy and your water consumption, and probably also your waste, your company can be called green. Look, have a green image. And I think people like that. And you will be regarded as a societal responsible company. People will like it. That's taking responsibility for what you are and who you are in this world. Yeah. Okay, these were the general thoughts. But let's start the discussion a little bit more, make it more difficult. So this is still easy, I hope. So energy consumption is power times time. Maybe some of you are already thinking, wow, what is he going to know? Well, I will try to explain that. So you can express power as, for example, as watt. For example, 1 kilowatt, a kilo is 1,000. 1 kilowatt is 1,000 watt. So, for example, 1 horsepower is roughly 750 watt, or 0.75 kilowatt. Yeah? I hope you understand this. I'm an engineer. For me, this is just, well, 1 to 1 is what is 2. So I hope you understand this. Time, we express it in.
Should we stop for 1 minute, Kees, just for 1 minute? It's going for 20 minutes. Just a quick reflection, see this question. So it's just maybe I see everyone's asking. I thought it was understood. If you switch the geyser off, you're going to save a lot of money, when you're not using it. So I see lots of 2 or 3 questions on both the chats talking about the geyser. So it encourage them. I think it's the second thing people are asking, if should I switch all the plugs off? And I think you've told a few people on the trip, even devices that are like TVs and stuff that are on standby, switch it off. If you're not using, put the plug off into it. And then lastly, Case, everyone's asking for a checklist. I think I asked my girlfriend ChatGPT and I put one in the post, but I think you're the best man for the job. So I think maybe, we can come together with an updated checklist that what the colleagues are saying, they need to train their staff. The owner might do it, but if we can have this 2-page checklist where we can stick it in the wall, stick it at reception, stick it in the staff room, stick it in the kitchen, it'll encourage them. So maybe that's just one action item of today. Sorry, colleagues, any question? Mrs. J, you go first.
Just to answer that question, Akash,
Yeah.
I think we have developed the best practices for guest houses. And I think that's kind of applicable for many situations. So we can share that.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. You just need to email it to all of us again and on the chat as well. Or Marinda, if you can please do it. Cool, fantastic. Mrs. J?
I want to reflect back to the issue of showering because it touches me a lot. It affects me a lot. So I want to understand if we talk about showering. Remember, there's showering and there's taking a bath. So I understand we have to take shower for 3 minutes and less, but I also want to understand if taking a bath is considered energy saving and how.
Yeah, that's a good question. First of all, I'm not here to say you must shower for 3 minutes. That's a free choice. So only thing I'm saying is think about it. Think about it and have a look at your bill, your energy bill. And think about it in relation to maybe your children and your husband. What are they doing? And talk about it. What do you think is normal? I cannot zoom in your private situation. So I'm not saying you must. That's totally different. On taking baths, I'm not a shower guy. I'm a bath guy. I'm taking a bath maybe once per week. And of course, it's about the amount of water. And bath is usually 150 liters of water. And the shower is say 6 liters of water per minute. So a bath is equivalent to say 20 to 30 minutes of showering. That's the way you have to look at it. So if you take a bath once per week, in my case, and not showering every day, yes, then a bath is more as energy saving. But even I like the bath because it's a kind of comfort. I can also do without bath even. So you see, it's a matter of how long is the tap running. You can check it out yourself. Versus how many minutes are you using the shower per week. And if the bath is running shorter, then it is a saving.
Yeah. Okay, good. Excellent. Okay, Nico, I bet you got your hand up, and then we got Vince. We're going to hop over to you quickly. Nico?
Yeah, quickly. I will talk about the geyser, but also the shower and the saving and water possibilities of this item. So I will go through everything. So the next day I will talk about the geyser and showering.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, cool. Vince? Unmute, Vince.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Okay, yeah, so for me today, I think my concern as a tour operator, since we use like more diesel, the big impact or the cost which is affecting us, it's mostly like the diesel. So my suggestion is for the future, it can be like electric cars or hybrid cars. I know it's too expensive, but it's just an idea which is affecting our profit a lot.
Yeah, actually, I will explain it a little bit in the next slide.
Okay.
Basically, South Africa is transitioning to electrification. So in the end, it will be much more electrical. So maybe in the future it will be all electrical cars, and maybe it starts with hybrid cars and then electrical cars and so on.
Okay,
But
fantastic.
we can talk about this for ages. So let's.
Okay. Yeah, but we can also get the conversation going, on the chat, or we can set up a separate meeting to talk about one. What are the electric vehicle options in between now and then, or I don't know. But if it's a detailed topic, we can cover it. We can also share, and I will share this weekend, Case, some other technical matters like the geyser, thermal heating for geysers, so people can addition. But I've got 5 questions on the chat, and then we're going to stop. Everyone else can type after this. So let's start with you first, Tebogo, and then Auntie Sarah, and then Clifford. Tebogo, first, quickly, your question, and then Sarah, and then Clifford. Tebogo?
Sure. Thanks, Akesh. I think for mine is more for comment and just reflecting on what was shared. I think on the geyser, what I found to be helpful is using timers, geyser timers. Those help in terms of managing your energy use, but also with the showers, if you want to reduce a bit of your capacity of water that you use per shower, I think you can also get those shower heads or shower rows that will give you about 3 liters per minute. I think you can even get less than that. So even if a person might take slightly longer, but the number of the quantity or volume of water that you use will be reduced. So that was my comment. Yeah, sure.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah,
okay, cool, excellent. Thank you. That's a great comment. Thank you. The geyser time is into it as well. Cool. Auntie Sarah, and then Clifford. Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Fantastic. Go for it.
Yes. In Guyana, there's water scarcity, and I think it's helping us in terms of power saving, because we really use showers. We don't use baths. We use taps, just little water to get us going, and that has an impact on the power. We only boil or heat, say, a bucket, and all of us have to share the hot water from that bucket.
Yeah, it is hard times. It really, really is hard times. We know that. And I think the more we talk about it, encourage, I think it will be important. Clifford, over to you.
Hi, good morning. My thoughts are, if we could possibly get an indication of different devices that and how much they consume. I found that when I started implementing some of these ideas with my staff, they wouldn't see the difference between how much a kettle consumed versus an iron. I think maybe just for our own education to get some sort of idea, okay, these are consumed so much, so I think you can quantify some of these potential savings, and then we can translate them into cash, which I think it will give us I found that once you tell people, listen, we're wasting 20,000 a month just because we are not switching off visas during the day when there's no one in the lodge. So some of those ideas educate all of us, because we are not really all electrical engineers. We all need to ideas on how we can and what we need to prioritize.
Yeah, Clifford, I got to tell you a little secret. You know that you can do this all the time, right? I do it all the time. So, ChatGPT, you can ask it anything. You can take your electricity bill and ask it how you can save. So you can ask it, okay, I'm a SMME having 4 guest houses, and I use the normal kettle in South Africa. How much does that compare to the iron? How much does that compare to the TV on standby? And I promise you get in 90% or 95% accurate. You know what I'll do for you, right? We can even do, if we get 5 minutes later, I'll do the ChatGPT. We'll analyze the bill. We'll ask your questions quickly into it as well. But if we perhaps don't get a chance, let's set up a separate session on how you can empower, and I will do it for all of you all, all these questions from today, how ChatGPT, can help you. I did a checklist just now on the chat, Clifford. It took 15 seconds on ChatGPT for Limpopo and Mpumalanga-based businesses. But I'll actually do this as a value add. We'll set up a half-an-hour session, and I'll do it live for the questions. Great idea, Clifford. You're going to make sure everyone helps themselves all the time. Fantastic. Thank you. Colleagues, we are going to move on. I see there's a few hands more. It is now 10:39. Please, can you ask your questions in the chat? And I'm going to ask Case to continue. Case?
Yeah, okay, let's do that. Well, actually, this slide is pretty important because if you understand this a little bit, then you know how to save, what the starting point is. So again, power is watt, time in hours or seconds, and energy, you can express it as kilowatt hour, and so that's 1 kilowatt during 1 hour. And for example, just to compare your personal energy, 1,000 kilocalorie, usually your take-in is 2,000 kilocalorie, for example. And 1,000 kilocalorie is 1.2 kilowatt hour, and 1,000 watt hour is 1 kilowatt hour. Yeah, just for to compare it. And then suppose you have a 1.5 kilowatt motor running for 2 hours, like a pump, and it's running for 2 hours, then it's very simple. It's 1.5 kilowatt times time is 2 hours. It's 3 kilowatt hour. Yeah. So if you understand this, then you're already quite good on the road. Yeah, I will skip this one because we're running out of time. Wood fires are pretty inefficient. Realize that if you have an open fireplace, for example, with cooking pots on it, only 10 or 20% of the heat is really consumed for heating the water, for example. If you have better stoves, that can be increased to even 70 or 80%. It depends how you do it and how you heat the water. Then you have pellet stoves, and pellet stoves are even more better. But pellets are more expensive than just proper wood. So also, if you burn wood, the type of wood and the appliance and how we operate it, how you maintain it, it all plays a role. So I'm not going to explain it all here. That's a completely other story. But realize that by using the right appliance, you can also increase the efficiency of your piece of equipment. Well then, the favorite of Akash. Of course, you can ask yourself how to save energy and water. For example, Gemini of Google, that's a free application. You can ask questions. For the sake of time, I'm not going to do it now, but if you like, Akash, you can do one attempt.
Okay, fantastic. I'm so excited. You just made my whole weekend. Fantastic, fantastic. So I've got a question about the solar panels, right? Just give me 1 second. I just want to close all of this. I can't see. Yeah, there we are. Can you see it, Case?
Not yet. I'm looking at generator.
Fantastic.
Now.
Okay, excellent. Thank God I didn't have my bad pictures open. So here's the question that's on the chat right now. Hi, does my solar freezer require separate solar panels, or can it be plugged onto the main system if solar energy is on the site? So you can see it's quickly asking, it says the solar freezer can blah, blah, blah. You can see the answer that's coming out of it. I'll post this answer in the chat in a few minutes, but you can see you can ask it anything. So you can ask it Clifford's question. And so Clifford says, is a kettle, Clifford, what is the question you asked? Is a kettle consuming, Clifford, more electricity than a iron in a guest house? Cool. There we are. So it'll answer you and it'll give you a specific Yes, in most cases, the electric kettle is the biggest consumer per energy compared to. So it gives it. You wanted the answer, Clifford. There's the answer. The energy consumption 0.125 to 0.25, and for 15 to 30 minutes of the iron is 0.25 to 0.75 kilowatts per hour into it as well. Cool. So colleagues, it's just an unbelievable tool. You can ask it to analyze your bill, and I'll set up a separate session. I want to hand over back to Case, and we'll take questions a little later. Sorry, Case. Apologies, and then we're going to go. Mrs. J, we will get to you first hand up on the next one. Promise.
Actually, on the kettle, for example.
Yes.
So if you're using an 2 kilowatt kettle in your guest house, how about changing that to an 700 watt smaller kettle? They're already saving quite a lot of money, because a guest will fill up the kettle as much as possible, then cook it. But if your kettle is smaller, then you're using less energy. Just an example. It's in the best practices, by the way.
Yeah, okay, fantastic.
I will continue. Just a few examples. Sometimes life is very easy. This is a hotel school in Gambia. One of the PUM experts was there and did do an assessment and blah, blah, blah. By the air extraction in the kitchen was running all the time, day and night. And by adding a timer on it, investment 1,000 rand, roughly, savings 37,000 rand per year. So payback is 10 days. And probably you'll find it in your situation as well, similar situations. This is a no-brainer. Just do it, because you're bleeding money. Other example was just repair. Maintenance is also an important one. If you are not maintaining your equipment, then you look at this kind of issues. So repair the underground pump, 1,000, savings 45,000, payback 8 days. So within 8 days, the repair is paying itself back. Yeah, so payout time is, you can do the calculation, it's at the bottom. If you like, I can explain it, but for the sake of time, I will continue. Other one is, it's more a process-related improvement. An old burner in an oven. Don't ask me what type of oven it is. I don't know. Investment of so larger investment of 210,000. Savings, quote quote, only 30,000. But hey, this is running for a long time. Maybe 20, 30 years. So 30,000 savings and payback of 7 years is still a good investment. And next to it is less damaged products, because your oven is better. And reminds me about pottery. If your oven is of high quality, probably you will have less damaged products. And with a proper burner, there's less noise. It's easy to operate. If the burner is really good, no oil or dust or smoke or soot in the air. So also the working environment will be much better. And if you do it right.
Sorry, Miranda, can you help? Miranda? Sorry, Case.
Okay. So as in this case, night firing is possible. And so if you add all those advantages to it, then probably the payback time is only maybe 1 year. And also in this case, a no-brainer. You can also heat up water with solar geysers. And you can do it for guest houses, but you can also do it in manufacturing even. So this is one of my favorites. So the so-called IDC panels that are also applicable in South Africa. So investing in it, payout time less than 3 years in this case. And likely also in your case, payout time will be short. For me, that's a no-brainer. A production plant for paint in South Africa, just to review the performance of the process, the production process. So a small investment, huge savings, payback 3 weeks. Well, these are no-brainers. So you have to spend some time on this to understand where are the savings coming from. But if you look for where is energy and how can I improve it, you'll find it automatically. So cold rooms. This is a big cold room. Cold room is to store perishable goods, meats, vegetables, and flowers even. But for example, this cold room is excellently thermally insulated. So the walls are insulated, the floor, the roof, etc. The doors, double sluice doors, all the goodies. So if that is done, and you apply a lot of solar panels, for example, on the roof, that also prevents that heat is coming to the warehouse. Then you can even use the warehouse as a kind of battery. So during daytime, you're cooling down and cooling down a little bit deeper. And during nighttime, the cold room is heating up a little bit. And then and during daytime, you're using the solar panels for the chillers to cool the content down. And during nighttime, maybe only need a little bit of light, and that is minor. So in that way, you make the cold room a kind of battery. This is a large cold room, but you can also think about much smaller cold rooms, containers. But it should be excellently thermally insulated. If that's not done, it won't work. This sounds a little bit difficult, but think about a big boiler. Boiler that is fired with gas or with oil. And you can add economizers on the boiler in several ways. So that the efficiency of the boiler is going up from 80% to close to 100%. So this technically, it's all possible. Payout time, less than 2 years, for me, a no-brainer. And then let's make it a little bit closer to home. I hope you are living in this kind of castle. But if the home is smaller than this castle, then still everything is applicable. So the question is how to keep the heat and the cold inside, and how to prevent you have to cool and to heat in the wintertime, or to minimize that. Well, there are a lot of possibilities, but basically it's insulating the roof. And I know you have a lot of metal roofs. So metal roofs, if the sun is shining, the metal roofs are becoming very hot, 60 degrees Celsius or maybe even higher. And maybe you can even fry an egg on it. So that heat is also kind of radiating to the inner side of the house, the guest house. And to make this less is by thermally insulating the roof on the inside, or to thermally insulate the suspended roof. Some of the hotels where you stayed the last 2 weeks had double glazing. Double glazing means that there's a space between the glass, and that prevents that the energy is going out or the energy is going in. So it helps to save energy. I know this is expensive, so you only do this when you have the money for it. But for the first one, the insulating the roof with the glass wool, for example, that's not that expensive, And probably that will help you a lot. Of course, if you are able to insulate the walls, the wall cavities, if there are any, that will help as well. So basically, reduce all the heat or cold leaks in winter and summertime. But if you do that, you have to also think about ventilation. So if you are make your home leak tight, and you're not ventilating, and you're still cooking in it, and etc., that will be a very dirty atmosphere. I will talk in the next slide about it. If your facility is, or your guest house is on piles, for example, well, it's handy to insulate the floor. Or where there is a lot of crawl space under the floor, think about it. In the design of your home, if the windows are on the sunny side for the winter time, that's great. Then allow the sun coming in. But in summer, that's difficult because you do not want to have the sun inside. So then you have to have awnings or screens on the outside, not on the inside, on the outside, because that is preventing that solar light is entering your area or is heating up on the inside, the awnings and the screens on the inside. Right? So this has to do with your building. So basically, the shell of the building should be insulated as good as possible. And of course, if you ask people in your home to close the doors and the windows, that will help too. For example, in the guest houses, if they are running their air conditioning and the door is open, yeah, come on, and all the cold air is going out. So it's also a kind of education of your guests. And they know, if you explain it in a proper way, hey guys, we care about the environment, we care about our energy bill. Please shut the door. Or you can have spring-loaded doors, or door that are a little bit tilted, that they will automatically close. The other one is, if you are doing this, air quality can be important. If you are burning gas, then carbon monoxide can be created. That can kill you. If there's too much carbon dioxide in the air, it will kill you. Temperature too high, too low, humidity too high, too low, supplemented particles too high, too low, that is not always pretty nice. So, for example, carbon dioxide, we release out and we generate carbon dioxide. If there are many people in the room, then usually the fresh air is roughly 400 ppm carbon dioxide. But if many people in the room and all the windows are closed and the doors are closed, and in no time, carbon dioxide level will reach 1,000 higher, and that you will feel a headache coming. And if it continues, you will start even becoming drowsy. So that's not a good situation. Good news is, if you like, you can buy a carbon dioxide monitor and analyze what's going on. But better is to open windows and have proper ventilation. Well, humidity is a certain range. Temperature for energy savings, wintertime, well, 19 degrees Celsius is possible. Maybe that's a little bit cold for you. But here where I live in the Netherlands, 19 is quite common. In the summertime, 22, 28. And I can imagine when outside is 37 degrees, then to maintain a 28 degrees temperature in the room, that's still okay. Then the temperature shock is not too big, and still you will save some energy on cooling. But then back to water. We already discussed this. Showering maximum 3 minutes. Hey guys and girls, it's up to you. Huh? I'm not saying that you must. It's think about it. The kind of standard is 3 minutes. Of course, you can shower longer time, But then think about how can I mitigate that? How can I, for example, if you're using solar geysers, then yeah, come on, the solar is heating up your water. Then the only loss is water. And if that's not an issue, then okay, then you can still do the showering, whatever you like. Already touched water flow rates in your showers, in your taps. You were talking already about 3 liters per minute. So that's an easy way to reduce your water consumption and your energy consumption, because a huge amount of energy is going to the hot water. In your bathrooms, if you have a water-saving toilets with 2 switches, then try to use as much as possible the small serving button, because it will save roughly 50% of the water. Other one is you can also soften your water, and by softening your water, you need less cleaning agents, and as benefit, the calcium deposits in your system, in your hot water system, will not be there anymore. And that means that your geyser will work better. Your sink will look nicer. Your shower will look nicer. Your bathroom will look nicer. So there are a lot of other advantages, and probably it is paying itself back. Well, then in water, there's also a need for a buffer tank. And actually, that's a kind of similarity with energy. So the buffer tank is your water battery. Realize that. So if there's load shedding on the water, then the buffer tank is your battery. Then a few words about the solar geyser. Safe set point is 55 to 65 degrees Celsius. Higher means that when you have no softening equipment running, the calcium is coming out more, so more sludge, more slime formation. And if you're using lower temperatures, then bacteria may grow, and that's not nice either. So this is a kind of optimum setting. And of course, if you have geysers, they need maintenance. Maintenance of the anode. If the anode is not replaced regularly, then there will be I call it corrosion. And if you're not removing the calcium, it's not good for your system either. Well, I already touched it. Load shedding means do not try to run the geysers, because they're consuming an enormous amount of energy, 3 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt, and that's enormous burden on your system. Hot pipelines should be insulated, thermally insulated. Solar geysers save a lot of energy. And already explained it, soft water. Actually, I do have it at my own. It's really brilliant. And also less maintenance. 2 words about softening of the water. The most common practice is ion exchange, and you see it in this picture. It's a small installation. In this case, it's in lots of 19 guest rooms. A little bit of water loss. You use sodium chloride for regeneration, and that white bucket, container is for the sodium chloride. And sodium chloride sounds very chemical. Well, of course it is, but it's nothing else than kitchen salt, what you use in your home. But of course, it's special.
Yeah, Kes, while we're waiting, and I know you've been talking for half an hour, just to maybe take a break, I have 2 questions from Masingitana and from Mrs. J. So Mrs. J, go first. Maybe you'll also give Kes a chance to sip on some of this water. And into Mrs. J and Masingitana, those are the 2 questions, and then we're going to get back into the lecture. We're trying to answer many questions, but I'm going to definitely make that time to run a ChatGPT session for energy and ask all the questions as it as well. And then Muzi, you the last question because you're so special. So Mrs. J, go first. Are you there? It was your old question, and then Masagitana and Muzi, and that's it. And then we're gonna get back on. Mrs. J.
Okay, thank you. Actually, my bill this month is 2.5 for water, so I'm really touched. In baking, we have this assumption or belief, or it's a myth. I really haven't calculated it, but it's believed that gas is it's less cost than electricity. So now people always like they're changing from electricity ovens and electricity stoves to gas. I want to know that is that the right move? And also lately I've been using AI tools, AI equipment, not tools, AI equipments to save energy in my house, the likes of using pressure cookers for when you're cooking stewing beef, you know, it takes longer on the stove. The stove consumes a lot of energy. So I replaced that with a pressure cooker, the likes of quick food. I just use the air fryer. It's more effective and it saves a lot of energy. But then my question is based on the gas, and I want to know, since we are talking about energy and taking care of our continent, doesn't gas hurt the ozone layer in any way? And also there was a point that was raised regarding South Africa having growing on electricity car. Isn't that also something that is going to affect us, since we are now also, we are not going to save electricity. We are moving from petrol and diesel to now electricity. So how is that saving us when it comes to this? Isn't electric cars still a problem? That's my problem. That's my question.
Well, that's a very philosophical question. It could take a long time to answer. But Kesh, very quickly, maybe you can just give a comment and we can pick up the discussion in detail. I've kind of noted it about gas versus not. And this is in the chat. It gave me a quick calculation and tells you bake the bulk in gas, bake all your pastries, the delicate ones, you're using electricity, and gives you a cost per kilowatt. I'll share that with you, Mrs. J, on the chat just now. Kesh, just a general comment around do all this other gas not affect the ozone layer and Earth? I think, Mrs. J, the comment is that some of these are less punitive, less damaging onto the Earth. There's still a carbon footprint for mining, the stuff that solar panels are made for, but it's less intensive and less in terms of affecting the ozone layer. Maybe I'll ask you, Kees. Kees, do you know the answer? Or you can ask. If you don't, we'll ask Nico.
No, I will give you an answer. It's comparing gas to electrical cooking. Let's focus on that.
Okay.
Actually, it is explained on this slide.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, there we are.
Yeah, so electrical power, when you buy it, is 2.7, if I'm properly informed, rand per kilowatt hour. So an efficiency of an electrical motor is more than 95%. So the real cost for the power is 2.8 rand per kilowatt power. Yeah, so think about this. If you look at a car, it's using petrol, and if I'm properly informed, then roughly 22 rand per liter. So that's 2.3 rand per kilowatt hour. But the efficiency of a car is only 20 to 40%. So the real cost is 7.7 rand per kilowatt power. So if you compare that to the 2.8 rand of electrical power, then electrical power is much cheaper. Yeah, so that's one. Second one is the same trick you can do with gas, LPG. And if I'm informed well, then gas costs roughly 36 rand per kg. And that means that that is equivalent to 2.9 rand per kilowatt hour. So if you compare the 2.9 with electric power of 2.7, yeah, okay, then electrical power is maybe cheaper. But if you look at the efficiency of the gas stove, is 40 to 50%. And then the real cost is 6 rand per kilowatt hour heat, what you apply in your pots and pans. And still you have the carbon dioxide emission. Yeah. If you change over to induction cooking, I will talk about that if I have time later, then induction cooking has an efficiency of above 85%. And then it will be only 3 rand per kilowatt hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's much more efficient. And if you talk about electrical cooking, the old-fashioned way with the gray plates or ceramic type, that is has an efficiency of maybe 60%. And that's the reason why normal electrical cooking can be more costly than gas cooking. And that's the reason why I'm promoting induction cooking. In Europe, induction cooking is very popular. Okay.
Cool, fantastic. Cool. So we just got one other question for Masingitana and Muzi, and then we'll continue. Masingitana, very quickly, and then Muzi after that, please. Very quickly, your questions.
All right, thanks, Akash. Just have one general question, well, two general questions and one personal question. So we already off the grid, right? So we trying so much to just save on the electricity and the energy costs and all of these things. But I'm looking at what are the biggest challenges, to, your widespread adoption of green energy, and how can we overcome like the barriers, like your upfront costs, and the lack of infrastructure, And my personal question is, I've realized with us, since we off the grid, solar powered, in most cases, more especially in this current weather that we're facing now with the rain and all of that, that means we're not generating enough power. So how do we deal with that? Is it do we need now more battery storage, or what? How can we effectively deal with that when when you have solar, obviously you need the sunlight, and the rays, and without that, how best can we move from that? Thanks, Akash.
Cool, excellent.
Akash,
yes.
Can I give a quick question answer on it?
Yep, go for it.
Next time I'm going to talk about it.
Okay, fantastic. So that's covered in next week's lesson. And then the last question, whose hand was up? I just quickly check the last question and we're moving on. But colleagues, it's so cool that there's lots of engagement. There's lots of questions, people's understanding, great suggestions. Cool. Maybe I can't see the hands up. I can't hear any voices. Over to you, Nika. I'm into a case.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I already touched the induction cooking. I know that this is still not properly implemented in South Africa, but I bet in coming years this will come to you. It's available in South Africa. Just a simple, and I've seen it already in several occasions. So a small, just one stove, one pit stove is only 400 rand. For a little bit larger, it's 2,700 rand. And you can have 2 pots on it, and even there are professional induction cookers. So it's all about precision and control during cooking. It's really fast compared to electrical cooking, conventional cooking. It's really it's amazing. You need special pans for it, and if you have that will cook fantastically. It's very good in frying and all the goodies. And already explained it. It's much more cost effective than gas and than conventional electrical cooking. But also it's about safety, because most of the cooking is done inside homes. And that means that if you burn gas, then you generate carbon dioxide. Hey, that's not good for you. There's no gas tank, so less safety risk. And as long as you have power, you can cook. And also no toxics. If you burn gas, there are a lot of toxins. That's not good for children, by the way. And so, etc. The cleanup is fantastically easy. it's much easier than a gas stove. And because of all the hot gases are not in your kitchen again, you have a cooler kitchen. So I know it's not used in South Africa that much, but believe me, this is the way forward. The other one is if you want to save on gas, then think about Wonderbags. Wonderbags, you can, in fact, you can bring your food to a boil and then put it inside the bag, and it will not continue to boil, but the food will be ready after 10-20 minutes. The food will be ready, and you can simmer. So that's also a way of saving a lot on your gas. And it's also called slow cooking. And I think in the world, slow cooking is pretty favorite for quality of the food. I'm not going to discuss this further, but have a look. The other one is if you are using big coffee cans and big coffee makers and you store the coffee, it's consuming a lot of energy. And actually, the coffee is not going to taste better. Actually, it will become worse. But I know if you have big parties, then you can still think about this. But for guest houses and for at home, try to make it as much as possible 1 cup at a time, or maybe 2 cups at a time. Then you are saving energy. A heater like a big coffee maker is running easily 1 kilowatt. So do your calculations. We already touched it. Air fryer. How about that? I would say highly recommended, also because it's probably healthier. Have a look at home, in your guest house, in your restaurant, in your lodge. Wait a minute. The other one is air extraction in your kitchen. Have a look at it. How does it work? Think about the power consumption. I'm not only talking about at home or in your guest house, but also in bigger restaurants, in lodges, for example. And in my case, I had an old kitchen extractor, but actually the annual consumption was 160 kilowatt hour per year. I bought a new one with LED lighting, etc., all the goodies, and really it saved a lot of electricity. But then basically there are 2 ways of extraction. This is the one through. You extract from your kitchen and blow it out outside. And the other one is recirculate. Well, if you have a kiosk, for example, and everything is open, then I would absolutely, wait a minute, absolutely recommend the one through situation. Just suck it away, extract it, and bring it outside. But if you are in a home, in a closed situation where, for example, are air conditioning, then you blow it outside, then you are blowing outside all the cold air as well. So that's I would call it a double dip. You're ventilating and you're bringing energy outside. So in that situation, I would recommend next to the oil filters, to apply also for carbon filters to reduce the smells. And if you like to invest in a proper filter, think about a plasma filter. That is expensive, so only for really professional situations, and then you can reduce the smells by 98%. Yeah, so B is normally saving energy, but it's not good for the environment if you do not take proper precautions. And A, if everything is open, then absolutely this is a good choice. Again, have a look at the power consumption. Then air curtains. if you have a shop, for example, or a restaurant where you like to have the doors open, then this can help you to prevent the air, the heated air, the cooled air, the smoke, or all kinds of fumes, or even insects and dust are not coming inside. So it consumes a little bit of power, but there are also savings next to it. Of course, if you talk about open doors, of course, best is close the door, keep the door closed. Few words about tumble dryers. The normal vented, old-fashioned tumble dryer, just what I'm showing you here is the tube. Is consuming a lot of energy. So 5.3 kilowatt hour per load is not uncommon. And then you have a modern type without tube. It's a condensing dryer. That's a little bit better. And you can place it everywhere. But the best is the so-called heat pump dryer. You can see that it's saving a lot of energy. So a lot of situations that you can apply this. I'm not sure you've heard about liter of light, so that you can apply this in the ceiling of your home, for example, and just use the solar light to light. Well, have a look at the website. There's more to talk about this. Then, of course, the common savings. So LED lighting. I think you all know how to do that. The normal tubes are LED tubes. TL tubing, conventional tubing. If you go to LED tubing, that will save you 50% of your energy bill. Highly recommended. If you are using compressed air, think about mobile equipment, battery-powered equipment, much more efficient. I'm looking at time. I'd love to discuss this. Let me think about this because I think I skip it. It's all about using the best equipment. And best equipment is how much can you get out of the electrical power for the cooled power, for example. I give you an example for air conditioning. If you are cooling with a normal air conditioner and the air conditioner is able to generate with 1 kilowatt, 3 kilowatt of cold air, that's not called very efficient. So and we call that EER3. And that means that modern air conditioners, they have an EER, cooling performance of 4 to 5. And I think if you have a look at your air conditioners in your guest house, at home, you can, it's in this presentation, you can read it back. Then probably your air conditioners are closer to 3 than to 4. So if you are considering to change your air conditioner for a new one, find an air conditioner that has an EER of at least 4. And you can recognize that, for example, by the energy label. On the right side, you see an energy label. And on this energy label, you will see a lot of explanations. For example, there are category D to A+++. And that means that the higher, the greener, is more efficient. So if you buy new equipment, have a look at this and go for the best. Probably the investment will be a little bit higher, but the return will be also higher.
Yeah. Sorry, Kees, can I just stop for 1 minute and just colleagues, we're having such a good engagement here. We are going to continue maybe for 15 minutes extra. Is that okay with you, Kees? If we continue for 15 minutes more, I don't want it to be overrushed. There's a nice kind of vibe and momentum going. Is that okay with you first, Kees?
Yeah, I actually have another meeting So 10 minutes I'm able to do.
Okay, so let's do 10 minutes and then you can ninja bomb out of here after that. But then after you ninja bomb, we'll give the prizes. Shmanta, there's so many questions. I'm thinking now to give not one, not two, but maybe 3 tablets, but you think about it. Cool. Over to you, Kees.
Okay. But then there are also a lot of tools you can use in your energy journey. And highly recommended. It's actually not that difficult. If you like, you can even make a business out of this. For example, energy consumption. This is a power outlet, a wall outlet tool. Plug it in your wall outlet, and you can immediately read how much power your equipment is using. Other one is a digital infrared temperature meter. Click it and you know the temperature. And also, for example, if you buy a digital infrared temperature meter that has a higher range, for example, to above 1000, you can also check the temperature of your fryer, frying equipment, etc. You can also use your own smartphone or your iPad for checking water flow rate, for example. Have a bucket under the tap, check the flow volume, check the time, and you know the flow rate. You can use your iPhone or your tablet or whatever for noise level. So a lot of noise means usually also high energy consumption. You can check the light level. If it's too low, too high. If it's too high, then reduce it, saving energy. You can use more professional equipment, thermographic camera. You see easily the hotspots in, for example, in your insulation, or if you have electrical cabinet, whether there are hot connections, you can repair them, or there's maybe something going wrong. But actually, this is the end of my presentation. So I would say a little bit of homework, if it's up to you. Have a look at your home, and of course have a look at your company. So where is the energy going to? What equipment is using energy? Read what's on the label. So find your top 3 energy consumers, and then if you found them, think about it, how to reduce their energy consumption, or maybe replace, or switch it off, or timer, or whatever, or do a small investment. And if you do a small investment, what's the payback time? Hey, that's good for your wallet. And if you're considering this, think about what to do now and what to do second. Because just an example, in my energy journey, it took me 6 years to implement everything. So it's not that you should implement everything in one go. You can also take a little bit more time. But think about it, prioritize it, and stick to it, and implement it. And also think about how to reduce water consumption, the shower, the whatever you're doing, and apply it to your business, and to your company, and to your family, and to others. Be an ambassador for energy saving and water savings. So basically, I wish you a lot of success with that.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So thank you very, very much. Okay, so just concluding remarks. Colleagues, there's a few last questions which Kees will attend to a little later. There's not really time for different questions, so please post your questions, continue on the WhatsApp chat. Kees will answer this, but I think you get the feel for it. Marinda will post the slides, boom, and then you'll be able to see it again, use it again. Marinda will post, if perhaps I see 1 or 2 of you like Masingitana could not hear, we'll post the recording that'll be loaded into YouTube, so nothing is lost out of it. Muzi, you still got your hand up. Is that an old hand or is it a new hand? We can't hear you. Okay, fantastic. We can see you, Pilato, as well. So, colleagues, we are going to move on, but just deep gratitude to Case for making this possible. Case, we really appreciate the time, effort, energy, and love that you've given the class. Thank you. If you can answer one or two of the different questions that you can see, I tried as best with me and my girlfriend ChatGPT. I asked the question, ChatGPT, is it better to shower with one person or two person? And then it said it didn't want to give me the answer. If two people can shower, if it's cheaper and efficient. So I don't know. Maybe you can answer that the weekend, Case. Colleagues, but deep. Sorry.
Quick answer. If it is with my wife, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Oh, your wife.
Of course. Hey, I'm not saying that. Of course, if we do it together, it's more efficient. But you have to decide yourself. It's not that I can say, well, you have to do it. Of course, if you can do it with the three of you, even better. But it's up to you. Think about it.
But Kees, it's going to be a lot longer.
Okay, colleagues, we have to focus on energy saver.
Okay, yeah.
So, colleagues, we are moving on in today's session. Thank you, Case. We're going to post the slides. We're going to continue the questions over the weekend, even if it's relating to your businesses. I see there's numerous requests for those that want PUM, and I've told you all the time, drop Akash an email, and I put my email both on the WhatsApp and whatever we're going to. We're going to spend a lot of energy on the renewables and the solar next week and pick up the conversation. So, okay, it's just a very concluding remarks. The checklist, if you can post it on the chat. I'm going to set up a session on how to use ChatGPT, quickly, in addition to it as well, just to, how to answer all the questions. So all the questions I'm answering, I have no clue how the answer is, but the way that you ask ChatGPT helps a lot. And sometimes, in a majority, it gives you reasonable answers. And you have to be specific. You need to say, I'm in Limpopo, I'm in Guyana, I'm in Elam, I'm in Mokopane, Mototolo, Mokolakwena, or Bushbuck Ridge, Manialeti, and then it'll give you a specific, kind of reason into it. But colleagues, thank you so much, Nico. Thank you to the entire Sigma team that made this possible to this stage, to Sitimbiso, Kolofelo, to Mirinda, to Shimanta. Thank you deeply. And the conversation is still continuing. So Shimanta, over to you. If you may decide who would get the tablet, the electronic tablet, if it's 1, 2, or 3, because I know it is a very engaging session. Shimanta?
Sure, that was really difficult. I mean, if we could open it out to 6 people, I would be happy for the tablets.
Oh,
Come on, Akash.
Fantastic. Let's give away 6 tablets.
All right. Excellent. Okay. So number 1, Masingitano Tented Camp. Well done.
Oh, man. I don't like that, but well done.
Mr. Sibuye.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Pleasure. Number 2, Muzi Safaris.
Fantastic.
Muzi.
Okay. Number 3, De-Stress Peggy Langa.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay. Number 4 is Titelo.
Titelo. Which company?
Motse.
Okay, Motse River Lodge.
Right. And then it's number 5 is Teboho.
Teboho from.
Thank
you.
And
guys.
last but not least is Mrs. J.
Okay, well done. Oh, wow. Shimanta, 6 tablets. That's fantastic.
I think it was worth it, Akash, with all the responses and questions. I think there was some deep thoughts, and coming prepared for today's session. So it was very informative from the questions itself. So thank you so much for that.
Did I get anything?
No.
Fantastic. Thank you. Colleagues, I think that, it's not about giving 6 tablets or to encouraging everyone to be part of it. I think what, somebody asked at the end, Toboko asked at the end, where to from now? It's about keeping this conversation. So we're going to put a checklist together for you. Case is going to post it this weekend. Stick it up in all the areas for your staff, to remind you, to remind your staff, to remind your family. It becomes a behavior and culture, and you'll see that electricity bill coming down. We've got many of your electricity bills. It varies from 5,000 to 13,000 Rand. You'll see it coming down 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and you can invest more in your business. But thank you so much We'll keep the conversation, keep the questions on the chat, and we'll answer. Kees will answer what's not answered so far. Any new questions we'll answer. And Shmanta, you have to get the tablets to every single one of those 6 people before the next lecture, which is on the 4th of March. Colleagues, thank you so much. We'll see you then, and we'll share the recording too.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Kees. Thanks, everyone. Okay, bye.
Cool. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.